He's been on our screens and in our hearts for 60 years. In fact, you could say Jack Thompson is Australian for movie star. A larrikin and a lover, his real life often rivalled anything he did on camera. Now 84 years young, he is not letting his health get in the way of anything. I had the privilege of spending a few days with Jack and a couple of his famous friends. With the legendary Jack Thompson, here we go.
Oh, mate.
Clancy, wheel him to the right.
So Clancy rode to Wheeldon. He was racing on the wing where the best and boldest riders take their place, and he made the Rangers ring with the stockwhip as he met them face to face.
At this stage in your life, how do you describe where you're at right now?
Where am I at right now? Where I am right now is in what my uncle described as the end game, and he said, you better take a look at it and be skilled at it. And I'm enjoying very much where I am now. And I've had the most fabulous career as an actor and an extraordinary life. And I'm still having it.
At 84, Jack Thompson is cinema royalty in Australia.
Major J.F. Thomas.
Adam Moran.
He was the passionate Major Thomas in Breaker Morant. Jack was on the wild ride of the once-lost classic, Wake in Fright.
Wake in Fright. He's pretty full on.
When you look back on your incredible career, Jack, what stands out to you?
My favourite movie, they're like children. You don't have a favourite. I love Clancy. Then I love Horses and Banjo Patterson and all of that. There he is.
That must have been incredibly difficult to shoot. That's a big action scene.
Really, and shooting with handheld alongside the riders when you get down to the level of all. I loved a lot. My favourite film to have made was a movie called Wind.
Starboard! Hold your course, we're fine!
What the bloody hell do they think they're doing? What are they doing?
Which was made with the 12-metre yachts over in Fremantle. And I played the Australian skipper, and I love sailing. I could just go on and on about them. I loved Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, playing Sonny Seiler, the attorney.
Jim Williams murdered no one.
I loved the assassination of Richard Nixon.
You know what you look like sitting in that chair? What? You look like the boss. Are you the boss?
I got my own place.
What did I tell you?
Just extraordinary opportunities to practice the craft in different roles with different directors, and they are all very different.
Real life rehearsed Jack for many of his roles. He was a soldier, a sailor, a stockman, arriving on this set with a back-breaking skill.
Sunday Too Far Away, the only actor who could cheer.
As Foley, the gun of the shed, Jack somehow made cheering sexy.
The famous shot. Cuts from Johnny's bum to my bum. Wonderful.
You don't expect me to sit down all sweaty and smelly like
Why not? It doesn't usually bother you, unless you're going out.
Jack had a young Russell Crowe as a house guest for 2 weeks, so they could play a brilliant father and son in The Sum of Us.
Oh, up your bum. It's just a joke. Dad's always making jokes.
Do you see your relationship today with him, because you're good mates?
Yeah.
As still like father and son with Russell?
No, because he's an older man now, and it's more like brothers.
You're very close, aren't you?
Oh, we are. Love him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the legend that is Jack Thompson!
Not all on-screen families become real-life friends. Here's another Jack as dad cameo in Star Wars Episode 2.
Cleo Glass. Shmi is my wife. We should go inside. We have a lot to talk about.
Darth Vader's stepfather, mate. I am part of the family. And all that dark side, not our people.
You have done so much.
I know. And it's a wonderful thing to not just to look back on, but to have. And I've had all of those experiences with all of those films, and it's richly inside me.
Jack's first ever role on the small screen was back in 1968 in the Channel 7 series Motel. The breakout role for you in TV, Motel?
28th audition, Motel. Bingo.
There's your break.
Admit it, you were seduced and you liked it. You're fun, Mrs. Burke, you know that?
So are you, Mr. Burke.
5 half-hour episodes a week shot out there at Channel 7. It was my training ground because it was a 3-camera system. And so you would actually play the whole scene, play it back on monitor, on the floor, and you saw yourself doing it. And it was terrifying.
While the scripts still keep coming, these days Jack enjoys a slower pace on his Coffs Harbour property, where life is good.
What do you love the most about this part of our great country?
Practically everything. Practically everything. The air, the ocean, the hinterland. It's wonderful, mate. It's just a privilege to live here.
It's not just the years slowing him down. Jack's health is in serious decline.
Well, I'm in stage renal failure, on dialysis. Dialysis keeps me where I am on this side of the ground. I'm very grateful for it. When I was diagnosed, my wife said to the nephrologist, is there an alternative to dialysis? And he said, well, Mrs. Thompson, you can have a dialysed Jack or you can have a dead Jack. And so we've gone for the dialysed one, which I thought was a good look. I recognise that I'm a cyborg. I wouldn't be on the planet without that friendly robot along the side of me there, behaving as a kidney.
How do you find those sessions when you're hooked to the machine?
You start, you're okay, you can read, make phone calls and but a bit after half time, I'm not interested in reading too much, don't really want to do anything, and go to bed. Wake up the next morning, Jack's back.
New life?
New life.
It's extraordinary, isn't it?
I have fortunately been able to make 3 movies while on dialysis.
Jack's early life could be art house cinema, an orphan raised by poets. That sense of belonging for you, I wonder how that journey was shaped by losing your mum at an early age.
Oh, definitely.
You were only 5?
Oh, yeah. I was 4 when she died. All that had happened for me was my mother had gone to hospital and wasn't coming back. And so then my aunt and my grandfather set up going to this school at Narrabeen Children's Seaside Hotel, where they took children from broken families and one thing and another. I adapted there. So that became my family, like 60 kids. That's where I met my brother, Peter.
They would be both in movies. Film critic Peter Thompson and actor Jack. And they were inseparable at the orphanage school.
Immediately in the same world of the imagination. And ever since, still great friends, still my brother.
You found yourself a family is what you did.
I certainly did. Wonderful family. Fabulous family. A wonderful, kind family. A wonderful, intelligent family. John Thompson, a writer. Pat Thompson, a writer. And wonderful circle of friends, musicians and other writers. It was wonderful. For a bloke who drops out of the nest, landed on the feet there.
Didn't you just?
Yeah.
Jack joined the army and became a scientist. But his adoptive dad, the poet and journalist Peter Thompson Sr., encouraged him to give acting a real go.
He said, "Have you thought of doing this full time, Johnny?" I have been giving it some thought lately, Dad. It's taking up a lot of my time. Just remember, lilies that fester stink worse than weeds. Oh, that looks like a nod. That looks like yes.
I think this can be said of you that's true. You haven't led a dull life.
No, I've not led a dull life. And it's not all been of my own design, but it's certainly all been of my own making.
All we need is someone who can do the job.
Would you have me believe you'd go out there on the Commerce lawn and do it?
Yes, I would.
From protest sex on a campus lawn to his blonde beefcake turn in the club.
You push me too far, Jeff. I love this club, and I love football, and I will not tolerate anyone who holds them both in contempt.
The camera loved Jack, and he used it to make headlines.
Hello, love.
You okay?
Sure.
How did it go? Did the topic of divorce rate a mention?
And you had come out of a period of your own life, controversially, in a relationship that was not of the norm at all.
No.
Tell me about that.
I won't. I don't discuss it. It's like, will I talk to you about a failed marriage? No, I won't. Don't want to.
Yeah. In the 80s, Jack lived openly with two women, sisters Leona and Bunky King, who was also his lover in Scobie Malone.
Good flight, Jackie.
Any flight's good that brings me here.
Where did it take you to in life and love?
It taught me about love. It taught me to be true to your heart. And I have been, and I'm still there with one of those women who loves me and I love her.
When we come back...
G'day.
Hey, old bugger.
Two legends of the screen together again and reminisce on that iconic racy centerfold.
Find you hard to recognise with clothes on. I only recognise you when you're naked.
G'day.
Hey, old bugger.
Just a hug.
Good on you.
So good
Lovely
to see you, mate.
Yeah. Good on you.
Come and sit down.
I will.
Come and sit down.
These two giants of the silver screen have not seen each other for 5 years.
But you know what's interesting, like, now that you're talking to me, right, it's not some older Jack that's talking to me.
No.
It's the Jack I've always known.
And it's not some older Bryan.
You know.
I think that internally you remain the same age, whatever it is.
Well, we know we're 35, really.
That's right. 35, that's right.
How old were you both when you shot Breaker Morant? That was 1980.
You were 40. Yeah.
That's the difference.
That was fun.
When you look back on that film, how do you reflect on that iconic Australian film?
It was a great film. It was, like, political, it was heartfelt, it was dangerous, it was sad, it was heroic, it had everything in it.
Well, we've got a few witnesses of our own tomorrow anyway.
Not many. Just about anyone with a good word for us has been sent to India.
Did you know each other well before you shot that film?
Jack and I know. Australian film did not happen until the period that we were lucky enough to be involved in. And I always say that in the beginning there was Jack and the rest of us followed.
While most Australians know him from the big screen, Jack has never lost his love of live theatre.
Very fond memories, mate. This is where I had classes with Hayes Gordon, the only formal acting training I've ever had. It was really lovely here.
This is where it all began.
It is. This is where my craft became more polished. This is where I learned more about the intimacy of theatre. It is spring, moonless night in the small town, starless and Bible black. The cobbled streets, silent. The hushed quarters and rabbits wood limping invisible down to the slow black, crow black, fishing boat bobbing sea.
Is it brutal? Do you get nervous on stage?
No.
You love it?
I love it. Yeah, I've been nervous before I step onto stage. But that's an energy that propels you once you're on, you embrace that energy.
Jack's Cleo shoot. Recreated. Now, I'm no eye to Buttrose, Jack, but I think we got the pose right.
Yeah, well, it was the first nude centerfold in an Australian magazine. Nudity was never sort of a taboo thing in our family household.
So you posing nude was a political statement too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, that's the first person who's ever said that too. But it was.
Were you surprised by the reaction to that?
No, I wasn't surprised by the reaction to it. I knew the country I'd grown up in.
Yeah, there you go. Come on up, brother.
Good on you, boss. Thank you.
Bit different from all those years ago.
Four. Everything is.
You still got it. You still got it.
It was magazine publishing legend Ita Buttrose who turned Jack into a centerfold sensation.
Hello, mate.
Hello. How are you?
Darling.
I love men with beards.
Do you? That's a good thing. My mother told me that kissing a man without a beard is like eggs without salt.
Well, I think she was quite right. As I said, I've always liked a man with a beard.
That's great.
And it suits you. Mind you, look what I've got.
The original, too.
Yes, I know. And we all signed it.
Wow.
So we're all there.
There I am.
Oh, there you are.
There I am.
It's 52 years ago.
I know.
realise this is very odd.
I don't look like that anymore.
Well, I don't know. You've got your clothes on. I find you hard to recognise with clothes on. I only recognise you when you're naked. But you said you think the nude body is a lovely thing, a work of art.
Yeah.
Let me take you back to 1972. You'd had a late night the night before.
Yeah.
You were to meet the photographer and the art director on the beach at Bondi for sunrise. However, you didn't make it.
Yeah.
So they go around to your house, bang on the front door, someone opens it, and you are clearly not able to get to the beach that morning. You've had a late night, an early morning perhaps. So they go out to have a coffee while you shower and get ready. Andrew, the art director, goes into an art shop and he sees an art book there and he's looking through it and he comes across Titian's Venus of Urbino. And she's lying there on the couch and he thinks, perfect. So you didn't have to budge off the couch on which you were resting. They just worked around you.
And looking in remarkably good shape for someone who'd been up late.
Oh, look, your constitution is amazing. We all thought that. If I had to launch a magazine today, I'd want you as a Cleo centerfold. I'd want you as a centerfold. Golden oldies. I can see another magazine coming my way.
Golden oldies.
Could there be one last project for the two of you?
You never know.
Together?
You just know.
Hey,
the one thing...
have you got the script? Oh, no, wait a minute. He's got the novel.
I remember giving him an award once or something. I said, look, I can still play 50. I said, and Jack can play my father.
That's the whip down the riverbank. A bit of smooching. Worst thing about dying, no more girls.
In Breaker Morant, Jack, as the defence lawyer Major Thomas, is trying to save Bryan's larrikin, Peter Hancock, from the firing squad. I think why audiences have loved you and your characters over time, because it's authentic.
That's a great compliment. I like it. I want it to be authentic. I want it to be such that if I play a cab driver, cab driver looks at it and says, "That's a cabbie." That's a great compliment, thank you.
Remember walking away from the orphanage every Saturday down the railway line.
It's true. You are. You are authentic in your roles and authentic in life. And you've lived.
There's loved living, I can tell you.
Have you?
I have, yeah. I wouldn't have had it any other way, mate.
There's worse things in life than dying, Jack.
Jack excelled at doing closing scenes for the camera. But right now, he's not ready to roll the credits on a life so fully lived.
I'm living here in paradise, and they're still talking about the next movie I'm going to do. It's still happening, and I presume it will go on happening until Providence says, "That's it, stop."
We don't tend to get a lot of warning about that, though, do we?
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we don't. Well, I can remember my mother, when I was very young, my mother said, remember, Jack, life is true. Life is real. And the grave is not the goal.